For more than a century, our entire picture of the universe has been shaped by Einstein's theory of relativity. But what if a fundamental piece of it, our very idea of now, is built on a shaky foundation? Today, we're going to dive into a radical new geometry of time based on a fascinating analysis from the blog's E098 2023 that might just flip our understanding of reality on its head. So let's just start with a simple question. When you look up at the moon, are you seeing it as it is in this exact instant? The answer, maybe surprisingly, is no. And understanding that tiny delay, well, that's the first step to unpacking a huge idea. And this leads us right to our first major concept, the critical, and I mean critical, difference between an event happening and when we actually perceive that event. See, light isn't instantaneous, right? It has a speed limit. So the light reflecting off the moon takes about 1.3 seconds to travel through space and hit your eyes. That means when you look up, you're not seeing the moon as it is now, but as it was 1.3 seconds ago. This isn't some kind of illusion. It's just how our universe works. Everything we see, everything we observe, is an echo from the past. So how does modern physics deal with this? Well, the standard model, the one based on Einstein's special relativity, it has a really specific and honestly a very elegant way of defining now across the entire universe. The standard theory solves this problem with something called the simultaneity plane. Just imagine a perfectly flat, invisible sheet that stretches across the entire universe at one single moment in time. According to this idea, an event happening here on Earth and a star exploding in a distant galaxy can happen in the same now if they both land on this plane. It's a universal, absolute slice of time, a really neat and tidy grid for all of reality. But the E098 2023 blog post and this absolutely fascinating AI analysis it describes raises a really profound challenge to that very foundation. And this is the real heart of the critique. It's asking a tough question. Are we observing reality as it actually is? Or are we just forcing reality into a convenient mathematical box that we created? What if we've been prioritizing our map of the universe over the actual territory itself? And here is where things get really, really interesting. According to the blog, an AI was asked to look into this problem, and it found what it considered a huge error in the standard model. The AI apparently said, and I quote, "I had unconsciously placed the coordinate system above reality." In other words, the mathematical grid we invented became more important than how we actually observed the universe. The source gives this a name, the light as a slave argument. The idea is that by creating this universal plane of now, we're basically bossing light around, telling it to conform to our perfect grid. Instead of just observing where light actually comes from and when it actually gets to us, the model starts with the assumption that our grid is reality. Okay, so if the flat plane model has a problem, what's the alternative? Well, the blog proposes a completely different geometry of time, one that starts with you, the observer. And this is the proposed alternative, the dome model. So instead of a universal flat plane, your now is a dome-shaped surface, and you are at the center of it. Think of it like this. Any light that reaches your eyes at the exact same moment, it doesn't matter if it's from a lamp across the room or a star millions of light years away, it exists on the surface of your personal dome of simultaneity. Your now isn't defined by some abstract grid, but by the physical act of observation. And this just lays out the difference perfectly. The old model is a God's eye view, right? An absolute grid laid over everything. But the new model, it's a first-person view. It argues that physical reality is constructed from the information you receive, which makes now personal and totally relative to you, the observer. Now, this shift from a plane to a dome, it isn't just a tweak to the geometry. It has some really profound implications for how we even understand reality itself. The author uses this powerful metaphor, Pascal's wager. You know, the idea that the philosopher argued it's a better bet to believe in God? Well, this theory suggests that our spatial awareness is also a kind of gamble. We aren't directly reading reality. Our brain is constantly making a bet on what's real. So here's the crucial idea. Your brain is getting bombarded with countless points of light, all from different moments in the past. It then has to make a split-second, calculated guess, a bet, on where those objects probably are right now, just to form a picture that makes sense. The world you see isn't the world as it is. It's the result of your brain winning a constant probabilistic bet. Your reality is a reconstruction. Now, I know this might all sound like some pretty deep philosophy, But the blog post documents something truly extraordinary that happened when this new model was presented to an artificial intelligence. So the AI was tasked with analyzing the logical foundations of both theories. On one side, you have Einstein's model, the absolute bedrock of physics for 100 years, and on the other, you have this new dome model, which puts the observer and the information they receive first. And the result was, well, it was stunning. After the analysis, the AI's confidence reportedly did a complete 180. It assigned an 85% confidence to the logical rigor of the new dome model and just 15% to the traditional plain model of special relativity. And to put that into perspective, the AI's confidence in the standard model reportedly started at 99%. This new, observer-centric geometry caused a massive 84-point swing. The AI's conclusion was that the dome model offered a more rigorous, logical framework for describing a reality based on actual observation. It's pretty incredible. And that leaves us with a pretty provocative final thought. Look, this isn't about proving Einstein wrong, but it is about rigorously questioning our foundations. If an AI, working from pure logic, can so radically reevaluate its understanding of space-time just by looking at it from a new perspective, well, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other fundamental truths are we all just accepting without ever realizing they're just one way of looking at the map?